Oh, hi there. I didn't notice you because I was so enthralled in writing with my new Ergo Glove80 that I just wasn't aware you were watching. Anyway, after this awkward and very bad bit as an intro, let me welcome you to this new video in where I will be reviewing the Glove80 to see if it's actually a good keyboard for developers. So let's go. All right, so welcome. First thing first. A while ago, a couple of months ago, probably a little bit more, I received from the guys at Ergo the amazing Glove80. This is an ergonomic split keyboard with 80 keys that it's one of the few commercially sold split keyboards that have the keywell. This section here essentially, that as you can see is not straight as with other keyboards, with standard keyboards. There's a reason for that, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But so I've been testing this keyboard non-stop as my main driver to give you actual feedback and proper feedback on what it feels like to use this as a developer. So there are many aspects of the keyword that I'm going to be covering. Hopefully by the end of the video you'll understand if this is worth it, because it's not a cheap keyword, but if it's worth it for you as a developer. So the first thing first, let me show you. This is the package you get when you buy the keyboard. You actually get a travel case, which is something amazing. Within the travel case, you obviously get two sides of the keyboard, but you also get several other things. You get a little page, which I completely ignore, and you shouldn't, which essentially says, read the fucking manual, right? Read the manual, and there are URLs for you to read about how to customize and how to use the keyboard. Just because it's a keyboard, it doesn't mean that you'll get the most out of it just by plugging it in and using it. Especially as developers, if we want to customize it, we need to read the freaking manual. I didn't. I complained about things to the guys at Ergo, and then we had a little call, and the first thing they told me was, did you actually read the manual? I was like, nope. And that was embarrassing. We get extra keycaps, very flat keycaps. This is just in case you want to customize it for Mac, for Windows, or whatever. We get extra USB cables, nothing out of the ordinary. We get, this is key. I'm gonna talk about them in a second. We get a switch puller, because this is a hot swap, so you can actually pull the key switches and customize it however you feel like. A little bumps. I don't know if they actually show. There you go. To make sure that the feet of the keyboard won't, will stick to the surface. But we get these two little baggies, and these are actually very important. Let me explain why. Just get this out of the way. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but in one of these bags you get tools. You get one of these bad boys, and you have replacement screws. These are for the legs, and you have these nuts here, tiny nuts for the legs. It's just the legs are the screw, the nut here, and the actual part that touches the surface of your table comes in the other bag. So you have replacements for all of them, right? You also have these, I don't know if you can see them. I just put them in my finger. There you go. See the O-ring there? There. So that's the only thing that you don't get in the actual keyboard, you know, because you get the whole thing. You get this like you see here, right? But the O-rings are the last bit that you have to use to personalize the length of the feet of the keyboard. And if you ignore the manual like I did, what you get is this. Listen to it. See the rattle? Here, actually, can you hear the rattle? You should be able to hear it. And you can actually physically see it. See how my hand is moving. Now, if you're dumb as I am, and you don't read the manual, right? You're thinking, I just paid over $300 for this premium split keyboard, and I get a rattly set of legs that not only move, but also make noise. This is not a premium product. Now, if you're thinking about that, you're dumb. Sorry, I am as well. I went through it. I actually had to have a conversation with one of the co-founders with Stephen, where he showed me the wrongs in my way. He showed me that the actual user manual shows you how to use these O-rings essentially. Now, when you properly, put the O-ring and then the nut, and then you screw properly and secure the length of your leg, then you get this. No sound. No sound here. And if you look at it, let me see how you can show it. No movement, no rattle, because the legs are properly set. Now, with that out of the way, why am I saying this? This keyboard is unique in many aspects. And I will get to the customization part, the software customization part, because that's probably one of the main things that we as developers want to focus on. But I think it's important to notice that this is not a cheap product. In fact, this keyboard goes off for over 370 euros. So it's a quite expensive piece of hardware that we might incorrectly deem as not premium enough if we don't know how to handle it. The rattling is one of the things. It's one of the main issues I raised to the guys at Moergo. When I tested it, I was like, it's great, it's fantastic, but it feels like it's not premium enough because of this. And they clearly showed me I was wrong on this regard. And the other thing I told them is, this little pad here, which is absolutely incredibly comfortable for not having just a piece of plastic to rest the wrist, your wrist here. But if you twist it a little bit, I don't know if you can see it here. See, I'm not breaking it, but it's a little flimsy, if you will, right? It might feel like it's gonna break anytime soon. This is the key. This flimsy, quote unquote, flimsy wrist rest here is made of a very sturdy plastic that you can, they told me I should, but I'm not gonna do it because I just don't like throwing things and seeing if they break. But they actually told me that I could throw this in the floor, and if it broke, they would send me a new one free of charge. So that's just how confident the guys at Moergo are about the quality of their product. Just because it's giving out a little bit, it doesn't mean it's gonna break. In fact, it's giving out because it's such a light piece of plastic. It doesn't mean it's not strong enough. It's just light, because this thing was designed with traveling in mind. So let me give you a little backstory about how this keyboard came to be. The Glove80, in fact, Moergo as a company, came to be because both co-founders had actually gone through years of suffering from RSA, from chronic pain due to their work as software developers. They had such a bad experience with keyboards and they couldn't find any keyboard that you could properly take anywhere, as consultants that they were, they would be traveling to different offices and different customers, and they could not have any easily transported keywords that would cater to their specific needs in regards to ergonomics. The only one that, and honestly, until the Glove80 came to be, I think the only other commercially sold keyword that had key wheels and had the ability to, customize it in regards to ergonomics as much as possible was the Kinesis, one of the Kinesis keywords. Now, if you look them up, they're not easy to transport. The usual ones are just a single block, huge block, where you have both sides already split, and they're similarly, I've never tried it myself, but they seem to be very ergonomic in that regard, but they're not transportable. It's not easy to grab those and just travel around the world visiting clients with that thing. Now, mind you, they have newer versions where they have actually two halves, right? Like this one, but they are not as slim as this one, right? And this is also the key. The designing something that can be created through injection molding that has this shape and allows you to put on these many keys is not trivial. In fact, the guys from Ergo went through many iterations and many different companies, designing companies, that just said, this is impossible. We're not gonna get there without you doing some hiding the aesthetics of the keyword like the Kinesis is doing. It's just hiding a lot of things inside the keys, behind the keys, so you don't see the hacks essentially from the design point of view that had to happen. This keyword was eventually designed by one of the creators, and eventually the design was refined, but this was originally an impossible design. This was originally something that everyone said, you can't do it. You can't have a key wheel, you can't have splits that are this light, this slim, that you can take everywhere. It's just, with injection molding, it's not possible. Well, guess what? Now, that means that the keyword is tailored or designed from the ground up with ergonomics in mind. That means the key wheel, it is designed to the millimeter to minimize finger travel, essentially, right? It is using a columnar distribution. That means your fingers are going up and down, and they don't have to go diagonally to move into the different rows, just up and down. And because of the concave, the distance that your finger has to travel to go from one key to one row to the next one is minimized, actually. So that's the reason for the wells. Now, the other thing is thumb clusters. While in my point of view, and this is absolutely my preference, this section here, which is for the pinky, it's just too crowded. I would not put these many keys here, but that's just me. The thumb clusters, which are 6 keys on every half, as you can see here, they allow you to use your thumbs for more than just the spacebar. I actually have the control, the shift, I have backspace, the enter keys, they're all here on my thumbs, which makes them a lot more usable. And I have to use the pinkies, which are the ones that require the more effort in my part, at least, and most of us as well. I have to use it the least. So that's another ergonomic point. Now, the legs of the keyboard, each half has 4 legs and 2 more on the rests. Most of the keyboards that are being sold usually have some sort of tenting mechanism that allows you to set up 2 or 3 preset angles for the keywords for each half, and that is usually good enough. As a user, you end up adjusting to whatever the tool is giving you. Now, just because these are just screws that you screw in or out as much as you want, you can actually get the exact angle that you want. either for tenting, which allows you to tent the keyboard, this way, or tilting, which allows you to also either have an inclination here, this way or this way, meaning essentially, if you look at your hand, tenting allows you to put your hand in and your forearm on a more comfortable position without you pinching the muscles here when you make this movement, and the position of your hand and your wrists. Essentially, with tilting, you can have your hand in a more also resting natural position, where your hand here is not forcing the muscles here in this position, which you would on a normal keyboard, right? If you don't have wrist rest for your keyboard, you usually have this position for your hand and your forearm, right? This angle here. And when you start moving your fingers and forcing, this section here ends up also being stressed out. So if you have tilting, and on top of tilting, you also have a comfortable wrist rest, your hand it's just like laying your hand on top of the keyboard without forcing any ankles and without forcing any muscles. So it's really, really comfortable to use. So you're essentially minimizing finger travels. You're just barely moving your fingers to type anything you need. You are allowing it for absolute customization on the angle tilting and tenting of the keyboard. And on top of that, I showed it already many times, but it is very slim. This means that the height of the keys is minimized as well. This is using choke switches. So these are very low profile keys that again help you to minimize finger travel. Even when pressing, you don't really have to press too much. It's just a tiny bit that you have to press, and you get the result that you want. So again, the keyboard itself is fully designed from ground up to be the most ergonomic piece of technology that you can use for your hands, other than just building your own custom keyboard for specifically the size of your hand. But it has as a commercial product goes, this is one of the top keyboards if you have ergonomic needs. Now, let's talk about what it feels like to use this as a developer. Myself, and this is again a preference thing, I don't need 80 keys. I'd rather keyboards that have less. Around 42 keys is where it's at for me. That means I like to customize layers for different functionalities, for accessing numbers, accessing function keys, or even using the mouse through the keyboards. Everything, I rather configure everything on layers than having the actual buttons. This keyboard wasn't designed with developers in mind. It was designed with regular users having strong RSI and wanting an ergonomic solution for them. So while you can do whatever you want, and I'm gonna talk about that in a minute, out of the box, which is after setting the legs and everything apart, the keyboard is already ready for you to use and has all the keys that you would need. So as a regular user, not as a power user, you're all set from the get-go. Now, if you are a power user, if you're a developer, if you want to get the most out of your keyboard, then this is absolutely possible with the Glove80. Why? Because its firmware is based on ZMK, which is a variation of QNK if you used it before, which allows you to write essentially and configure every single key however you want it. Now, through ZMK, you have the ability to, they also provide you with a web and online interface where you can visually customize the functionality of every single key for your keyboard. And you can set up as several layers to configure. I think it's up to 5 layers. So you can configure each layer however you want and switch between them with every single functionality that ZMK allows you to. And then all you have to do is simply download the firmware, connect the keyboard to the USB port of your computer. Click a combination of keys so that it goes into USB mode essentially as a USB stick. Just drag the firmware into the new USB drive and that's it. It does everything for you. You don't have to worry about anything. You just drop the firmware in the keyboard and the keyboard will reboot itself with the new configuration and you're ready to go. Absolute configuration is possible through ZMK. You have a web interface to do it even easier, and moving that new firmware into the keyboard is trivially easy. So as developers that we want to have special keys in easy to reach places, that we might even want macros to write code for us, you can absolutely do all of that through the configuration options of the ZMK. So for developers, is this the right product? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would highly recommend if you're looking for a keyword that allows you to be more optimal when it comes to writing code, because you will, to the point where, you're moving your fingers less. And on top of that, you are gaining in comfort because you have full control over the ergonomic aspect of you writing code, essentially your position, the position of your hands, your fingers, how much your fingers are moving. This is all customizable and controlled with the Glove80. Is it too expensive as an investment for the benefits that you get? I don't think so. Developers are spent 12 hours a day or more in front of the computer typing code. Taking care of your hands, if you're not already doing it, is absolutely a must. So, and that actually comes at a price. Sadly, you can get a $5 keyword and expect the keyword to treat your hands and your fingers and essentially your whole body properly. If you're spending money on extra monitors, if you're spending money on a very powerful computer, you also have to think about the ergonomics of writing, whether believe it or not, because they're very important to how you feel at the end of the day. So definitely, this is not a cheap product. Definitely, the Glove80 is on the expensive side of custom keywords, but at the same time, I've not seen any other ergo keyword out there that has this amount of ergonomics put into the same thing and this amount of customization capabilities that you can get to set it up exactly as you need. I even created my own dactyl maniform, which is kind of sort of similar to this setup. You have a thumb cluster, you have keywell, you have actually less keys because I set it up with 42, but they have a clumsier base essentially, and moving them around is a lot harder and it's a lot more uncomfortable. This thing here is designed for travel and is designed for comfortable. So really a unique match, if you will, in the market. There is no keyword like this one. No, the video is not sponsored by Moergo, although it would have been nice if it was. But anyway, the point is I'm just really excited about the keyword, and I'm really excited to share my findings with this. This is a keyword that, if used properly, you can configure it however you want. You can get the most value out of this, and it is it does have a somewhat expensive price tag of probably close to 380 euros, but you get a lot out of this. So whether you have RSA already, you do suffer from some sort of pain from your continuous writing activity as a developer, or if you just want to avoid it, definitely worth it. You get everything you need from a custom keyword or a customizable keyword on top of the amazing ergonomics. So definitely worth the price. And finally, before I leave, something that was also interesting to note is that shipping the keyword took probably 2 weeks, a little bit more. So me being anxious, I was kind of checking every day the tracking information, and the guys from Moergo actually were actually sending these personalized tips, every few days for you to like control the anxiety and figure out how you're gonna use, or the keyword, how you can configure it, kind of giving you information about the product that you were going to get before it arrived. So I thought that was an amazing strategy to control the anxiety of of people, getting the product and having to wait a little bit longer to receive it. So I just wanted to bring that up because I've never seen a company doing that when shipping a product. So that's also very, very interesting. Anyway, I hope you found the review interesting and that you got some value out of it. If you want to check them out, I'll add a link in the description anyway of the video. So check them out and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.